Hi, this is Jacqueline here with the GROW program. Good morning, kings and queens. Thank you for growing with me on today. So yesterday I was doing some meditating, some counseling, some researching, and I had heard this story in the news about Riley June Williams, and she's the young lady who ran up in the Capitol building and stole Nancy Pelosi's laptop and said she was going to sell it to the Russians. And she's 22 years old. And then my mind couldn't help but to think about the story of Kalief Browder. And I don't know if you ever heard of him, but Jay-Z brought his story to attention a few years back. And he was the young man who was lied on. They said he stole a backpack, which he didn't. He didn't have anything to do with anything. Just happened to be African and fit the description. And just like the young men that were accused of rape and assault in New York, they fit the description because they're African. Well, Kalief Browder's story is very, very tragic. And he spent 3 years on Rikers Island without even a trial, without even facing a judge, just lost in the system. And he came out and committed suicide. And I just was looking at the contrasting stories. And these two young people, he's 17, 18, she's 22. She was released to the custody of her mother, but he was thrown in Rikers Island for a laptop. She was released to the custody of her mother after she was accused of being a traitor to this country, a crime that you can get death for, but he was thrown in Rikers Island for being accused of stealing someone's backpack. Spent 3 horrible years in solitary confinement, beaten, tortured, maimed, mentally abused. I mean, this man went through over a backpack that he didn't even take. It was a lie. And the DA kept trying to call all out of town and get these people to come back and testify against this boy. And the whole time they had this boy locked up, nobody ever came and testified against him at all. And finally, he was released, but the damage had already been done. He never even saw a judge to get an arraignment, to get a trial, to get anything. But she was released to the custody of her mother after she stole the third in line from the president, her laptop, ran up in the Capitol building, a federal building, stole a laptop. That's burglary. That's robbery. And threatened to sell it to the Russians. That's treason. Okay, and so she's released to the custody of her mother. Well, what was her mother at when she was running up in the Capitol building? Was her mother out there with her? Did her mother tell her to run up in there? Where was her mother when she was released, when she ran up in the Capitol building? Where was her mother at? That's the question I would like to know. I would like to know the answer to that question. Riley June Williams, where was your mother when you was running in the Capitol building taking Nancy Pelosi's laptop? Did you tell your mother where was you supposed to be that day? Was you supposed to be in school? I mean, where was you supposed to be? No, it ain't no school. She was at home. I don't understand this. So see, that's what I'm talking. This is racial inequality. This is injustice. There are 2 different justice systems in this country. One for Caucasians and one for Africans. Africans got one all by themselves. Everybody just lumped up in the other one. I just see injustice when it comes to us. I see injustice when it comes to other minorities. Minorities getting killed and shot, But I'm telling you, the injustice that has been done to Africans since we have been brought to this country. I told you I have to reach for my people. I told you that, my podcast is about everybody else also, but I also have to reach for my people. I have to, this young man's life just destroyed. I remember watching the movie And I cried like a baby because somebody asked me to watch it. I didn't want to watch it. I knew it was going to be tragic. But I watched it and I needed to watch it so I can get on here and talk about this years later. Every time I think about him, my heart just breaks. His mama never saw it. Just she died before they even got to see any kind of money. He gone, and I mean, it just was all around in the state of New York. I ain't talking about no money. It's beyond money. It's past that. These people gone. The mama gone. I think the daddy gone. And I mean, it's past money. We need to change policy. We need to revamp this whole system that we got here. How did this boy get locked up for 3 years without an arraignment? How did he get lost in the system like this? His mama was sick and she started doing all she could do to go up there and try to talk to the people, meet with folks. Oh my God, it's just this justice system. It needs to be fixed. It does. It needs to be fixed. And so that's one reason why I'm on here talking, because I'm gonna keep on talking until it does get fixed, until it's over with, till it's ended. Okay, I had got I was checking on my voicemails yesterday on the website, and I got a message from Mike. And he didn't say where he was from, but he was talking about forgiveness and how hard he has a struggle with forgiveness. But I'm gonna tell you, forgiveness is part of healing. You have to forgive to be able to move on. To be able to heal, to reach your greatness in God. You got to be able to put the past grudge behind you and move on. You got to give it to the Lord. Meditate it to God, because I had to forgive. I had to meditate it. I had to give it to the Lord. Lord, help me with this, because see people go, and then they'll keep on doing it. We keep on letting them doing it. They'll keep on doing it. I heard somebody say they can only do what I allow them to do. Well, why you allow them to even do that? Because once you let people take an inch, they're going to start taking a mile. So what you got to do is start distancing yourself from this chaos, negativity, and drama. You need to remove yourself from it. And meditate that to the Lord, that hate, that anger, that bitterness, that grudge, that unforgiveness. Give it to God, begin to put the love back, and it don't necessarily mean you got to fool with people, who do you wrong. You ain't got to deal with nobody who do you wrong. You keep your distance from folks, because that's one thing I learned on this journey is how to leave people alone. I've learned that very well. And because I learned that I can only control me, right? Regardless of whatever they saying or how they acting or what they doing. I can only control me. It take two to act a fool, and they ain't gonna act no fool by themselves. They see they ain't getting the kind of reaction that they normally get. That's why I tell you about your coworker. Your coworker bugging you, your coworker bothering you. It's some people on this earth who are tormented souls, and they put here just to torment other folks. And what you got to do is stop letting them bother you. Go all out your way to avoid that person. If y'all ain't in the same department, you ain't got to fool with them. You ain't got to deal with them. Just do your job and leave it be. And just make sure you keep yourself in check. Always, at all times. We royalty. We walk in royalty. We act in royalty. And royalty. Nothing defeats royalty. It's okay to cry. It's okay to cry, but don't be defeated. Don't let it defeat you. Don't keep on crying about it. Get up and do something about it. Don't let it break you. Let it make you. Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom. And we're going to do this all over the world. It's happening, people. Joe Biden just said yesterday, he getting ready to do some policy change about racial inequality, some different things. I'm going to write to New York. I want to know what policy changes have been done since this happened to this young man. I want to know what they've implemented. I'm gonna tell you something. As I'm working, as I'm researching, as I'm doing things, and when I begin to hear from folks, you gonna be the first to know. Cause I just wrote. I'm trying to get them in their time to settle down. But I did write to Kamala Harris yesterday, congratulating her. I would love to have her on for the interview. I'm planning on having some more guests and people on, and we're gonna talk about some different things. That's got to do with Africans and oppression. And with African spirituality, the one thing I do want you to realize is that the souls are not resting. They are not resting. They are not asleep. And I'm telling you, we here for a God-given purpose. We are. Look at all these legends and how they rose against oppression of this country to rise and reach their greatness. I'm telling you, it's a time when you in this world, but you're not of this world. And you become truly transformed by renewing of your mind. You truly do. You don't think that way no more. You don't act that way, So God is good, and the beloved ancestors are wonderful, and they're working some things out as we, right now we know the evil is doing, but the good is doing, and some stuff is being worked out, God is moving through Joe Biden. God is moving through this administration to get some stuff changed for us in this country. We begin to come up out of this oppression. We begin to break free from this frozen ice that we've been up under, because we've been stuck. And it's been a long journey. It has. It's been a long journey, a rough journey. I was just looking on Twitter, and I saw a picture of Ella Fitzgerald, who was jailed for singing to a crowd, an integrated crowd. She was singing to a crowd. She just sitting on the bench, looking so beautiful, but her face just looked so sad. She was looking so down. All she wanted to do was sing and make people happy, and she had to go to jail for that, just for singing, trying to put a smile on somebody's face. It don't matter who it was. She just wanted to put a smile on their face. But she went to jail for singing to an integrated crowd. We still got a long way to go. We do. We got a long way to go. But we gonna get there. We gonna make it, people. And we're not gonna let it break us. We're gonna let it make us. We're gonna rise with substance. We're gonna come out from under this oppression. It's going to get better. And beloved ancestors, you can see it's getting better. It's being worked out, in our favor. God is good, I love you. Reach your greatness in God, It probably be some more episodes coming out today, So, I feel the spirit really moving me today. I feel motivated, But I want you to know on this morning, as you getting up today, you getting yourself ready, I want you to know you are one of God's own. I want you to walk in royalty. I want you to begin to forgive, begin to let go, begin to release, begin to know that, God gonna work the situation out. All you got to do is begin to let go, begin to set it free, so you can begin your healing and begin to reach your greatness, because you're not going to be able to reach your greatness by holding on to that unforgiveness. We got to let it go. That's just like, I'm angry about this situation with Kalief Browder and Riley June Williams, how this disparity here, but I got to move on because it's being worked out. We can be angry about that all day long, but at the same time, we got to realize that it's being worked out. And every tub got to sit on his own bottom. Everybody who done this wrong, they got to give an account when they get to the spirit world. You got to give an account to your actions on this earth. The heart is designed for your action. What kind of heart do you have? You got an evil heart? Well, you got to give an account to your evil heart. All right, people. I love you. Remember, greatness reached over our pressure through wisdom all over the world. God bless you, kings and queens, and the ancestors keep you.